Hello, welcome to Ascension Arcana Tarot. This is Christine with a weekly romance reading. This reading was meant to find you whenever it finds you, and as always, please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. That's really funny. I did not notice that she was flipped. That's very funny. That must have been from the last reading that I did. Queen of Pentacles. It's a good energy. Feels to me like minding your business and receiving all of your good. So we'll see if that is a theme of our reading here. In terms of romance, it feels like attracting, not chasing, right? It's a good energy. What do we have for us here? Emperor and Judgment. So the Queen of Pentacles for me is kind of like a minor arcana Empress energy. So it's funny that we just got her and then the Emperor. The Judgment card feels like that rebirth energy, just big like divine changes coming in, right? So there are many cards in the tarot that represent change, but for me, the Judgment is just like this sort of ultimate, like, you can see the angel on the card, right? Like sort of being called by the divine forward into change, that it's like your life will never be the same. I'm hearing in my inner voice the word irreversible. So it's almost like a pivotal moment of your life, right? So this could be, the Emperor could be representing your divine masculine. It doesn't have to be a male. It's just the gender on the card, right? But just that sort of divine masculine energy. It could also be representing, it's interesting, I'm having the themes of like authority and control coming up. So this could resonate for you as well if you are working through like blocks around authority and control. Sometimes a change as big as the Judgment can be pretty intense, right? Whoa, as I just said that, it started like pouring outside for a second. That was crazy. And I just looked at the clock and it's 2:22. So I don't know if that will resonate for any of you guys. So 222 for me is like a big number of union. So I am feeling that this is an actual person for most of you. So in a romantic connection, some sort of big change coming up. And just the intensity of that, right? What else you got for us here? Aw, that's really sweet. Look at how beautiful that is. Oh my goodness, that energy. So we have the Two of Cups and the Ten of Cups. That's so beautiful. The Cups is the suit of the emotions. The Two of Cups is that, sorry, I'm so distracted by the rain. That was like the most beautiful synchronicity. I love that. So I feel like the change that's coming with this masculine energy, this sort of life-altering change, right? Like being called by the divine forward into this change. The change is like all of your wishes come true in terms of this union. So the Two of Cups is the card of union. It's a card of marriage. They're getting married. There's like a really sweet innocence to this card that I really love. I was just talking about this in a short earlier. This, the lion to me keeps reminding me of a griffin. So it very much feels like, even though there's an innocence to this card, there's like a really profound power as well. Like this deep personal power. That's really lovely. I'm drawn to the two snakes today. I'm not usually drawn to that, but I feel like that energy of transformation very much goes along with that Judgment energy. And then the Ten of Cups here. It's like having your absolute ultimate joy together with your partner and children. So in the tarot, it's like pretty traditional, right? It tends to be that the goal, right? The goal of life is, the 2.5 kids in the picket fence or whatever. That may or may not resonate for you, but basically the point of the card is whatever is your greatest joy, whatever is the most joyful outcome for you, like that's the thing that you're moving into here. That's the energy that you're being called into here with this divine masculine energy. That's really sweet. I'm drawn to the fact that they have like this cute little house with the river there too. It's really sweet. And they're just like throwing their arms up. The kids are dancing. There's like a lot of open heart chakra energy. This is funny. So the Queen of Cups is a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, if that resonates. It doesn't have to, doesn't even have to represent a feminine, right? But that's just sort of that divine feminine energy on the card. She very much feels to me like she's just sort of going with the flow, right? She's right here by the water. I'm feeling her being swept up by the flow almost. Like in my mind's eye, I'm almost seeing the water, like the water level coming up and sort of sweeping her away. But her being very divinely protected in that, because she has these little angels on her throne kind of to guide her, to protect her. She's got like an angel on her shoulder. Yeah, it feels like a really auspicious, like a lucky energy. That's a cool feeling. I don't often get that from that card, but she feels very protected and very guarded over. And speaking of water, I'm like really drawn to the water in all of these. That's funny. We got the water in the Judgment. We have water in the Queen of Cups. We have the river here. And then this guy, this Two of Wands. I'm drawn to the globe. I pointed that out in a short recently where it's really facing Asia, Africa, and Europe. So if the area of the world resonates for you, that's what's on his globe. And it's, yeah, I'm just getting this message again. It's funny because I did a short that had a similar energy, and I feel like this is sort of relating to that, where the Two of Wands is like two paths, right? So the wands are all about willpower. The sort of like lesson of the wand suit is really just getting clear on what it is you want and using your willpower to like make it happen. It's manifestation just through sheer power of will. It actually, as I'm talking about power, it's making me think of that little winged lion figure too in the Two of Cups. So he's got this choice, right? He's got these two paths before him, but he's fairly clear here on which path is the one that he wants. It's the path of expansion. It's the path of travel. It's the path of adventure, right? This little sturdy wand over here is like kind of like the boring wand, right? And even this wand, he has it a little bit elevated. It's like up on top of this wall or whatever. So he has a path that is clearly like more attractive to him. And I'm feeling that it's this. It's that judgment moment, right? Where I guess he could ultimately, he has the willpower, he has the free will to choose to accept that judgment call or not accept that judgment call. But it's almost like not a choice, because that judgment call is so powerful, and it's so, man, it's like, I feel the feeling of it. It's like being called forward from the core of your soul. There's like an awakening that happens, right? So it becomes like this other path. Yeah, I guess you have the free will to choose it, but it's almost like not an option, because if you're in this collective, you're just so compelled to move forward down that path that you're being called into by this judgment, this awakening, right? And the beautiful gifts that are down that path is like, I don't know, this lovely, gentle, expansive energy. It's like all of your dreams come true in terms of like this romantic union. It's like very lovely. And the Queen of Cups, her energy feels very soft and sweet and surrendered to me. And like I said, also very like protected. It's really nice. There's like a gentle softness here, and also this really powerful forward calling into like this adventure. I've been talking about travel a lot lately, so if that resonates, it could be being called to travel to either overseas or near the water. I'm like always drawn to that on that card, but especially because we have like some water elements here. If it's not physical travel for you, then it's definitely some sort of adventure, maybe being called into a new business, a new job, a new home. It could be moving, right? Yeah, it feels like a big deal. This is really lovely. And something that feels so powerful. It's like you can't, it's like I said, it feels like this magnetism, right? To be called forward from like this angel's trumpet. Yeah, it's almost like you can't not follow it. You like can't refuse it because it's just waking something up in the depths of your soul. This is like a really beautiful energy. So in my readings, this is sort of the situation as it is, and then this side is our advice here. So for our first piece, we have the Nine of Swords. So I feel like if you are in this collective, you could be feeling really worried. We were just talking about that, right? Like that judgment. What did I say about the Emperor? I was feeling that energy of like authority and control. So that's something I know that I have worked through personally on my spiritual journey, is when I'm going through a big change, like what's represented on that Judgment card, right? I can sometimes get into this energy of like fear or anxiety. And I think it's pretty natural when we get into that state, we often kind of almost like clinch up and like grasp onto some sort of control, right? So it becomes a spiritual practice to recognize where that's happening for you, when it's happening, and really being able to like let it go. I'm not usually drawn to this in this card, but I'm actually really drawn to the fact that the figure is crying. And it feels to me like a similar energy of this water where it's just around flow. It's just around letting those emotions out. Like there's nothing for you to do or solve here necessarily. It feels like just acknowledging the fact that you're scared. It's like getting in touch with your little inner child who's maybe feeling overwhelmed or nervous or frightened of the, this big change that you're being invited into. Just that uncertainty, right? Recognizing that it feels uncomfortable, that it feels a little scary. Maybe it feels a little overwhelming, and just like cry and let those emotions flow out. I don't know if crying will resonate for you. Maybe you like journal about it. Maybe you, I don't know, do yard work or exercise and just sort of sweat it out. But it feels like doing something to just sort of let any of that fear or anxiety flow right out of you, and being really compassionate with yourself that like anyone going through big life changes has the potential to feel scared or anxious about it, right? It's not a big deal. I think as human beings, we just tend to crave stability, at least to some degree, and that's super normal and okay, and that wherever you are emotionally is exactly perfect for you, right? So really being able to go there with a lot of love, with a lot of compassion, and just release any judgment that you might have. This is funny. I feel like when I was just saying about this 10 of Cups card, I was kind of laughing to myself because I was like, as I was describing it with the 2.5 kids in the white picket fence, I'm like, that's usually how I describe the 10 of Pentacles. And then the 10 of Pentacles is right here. So this stinker on this 5 of Swords card, he sort of is like the saboteur, right? Where he wants to win at all costs. So he kind of is selfish. He kind of won through like a dirty trick, maybe. He's sort of smirking at these dudes. I'm drawn to this figure crying, same as what I just said over here. I feel like I'm trying to think of how to say what I'm feeling from this in words right now. I feel like if you are in this collective, there's sort of is like this saboteur piece to work through. I don't know how to say this. It does not feel to me like somebody outside of you. It feels like an energy within yourself that you are overcoming in order to allow this manifestation to come into fruition. Because this 5 of Swords energy is it's like extremely vibrationally different from this happily ever after, from the happily ever after of this 10 of Pentacles. So I feel like if there is anywhere that either you are afraid that you're sabotaging yourself, or maybe that you're afraid that some sort of outside person or circumstance could sabotage you. It feels like it's relating to that Nine of Swords, or maybe that energy is the thing that's making you feel like nervous or afraid here. Sometimes I feel an energy around this with my spiritual work of like kind of having the carpet yanked out from under you. So almost like a fear of letting this dream in, this good, beautiful thing in, because you're like maybe afraid that you're going to get like duped or tricked out of it. But I feel like the message here is that this is the illusion. This is not true. This energy of sabotage, of that trickery, of maybe someone being able to like take what's yours, that's fake. That's the illusion. And to me, that feels like sort of the ego trap here, where ego doesn't want to let this in, because the more joy and stability and peace and like this beauty and flow and gentleness and trust and like expansiveness, the more, I mean, it's like literally being called by God, source, the divine, the universe, like however you relate to that energy, right? The more you let that in, the weaker ego gets, the more ego dies. So I feel like it's almost feels like a last stand to me, where ego has like some cheap trick up its sleeve that it's going to try to make you feel like you're not worthy, or you can't have it, or it's an impossible dream or something like that, right? But the truth of it is, like, the real divine truth of this situation is the Ten of Pentacles. And I feel like the reason why this came here and not here is because this has the groundedness that the Ten of Cups just doesn't quite have yet, because the Pentacles suit is that suit of earth. And it's all about really like grounding your manifestations into your physical reality. So by the time that you get to the Ten of Pentacles, you have mastered the lessons of that, of really grounding into your physical reality, grounding onto the earth. Your dreams come true. And I feel like the energy of that Ten of Pentacles is so powerful and so strong compared to like this flimsy effort of like the Five of Swords. Like I don't know if you notice this, I keep putting them apart from each other because their energies like don't even go together. He's like, it's almost like he's irrelevant. And that moment of clarity for you comes when you just realize that he has no power over you. I love this. This comes up for me sometimes in my spiritual work, but way back in the 80s, remember that movie, The Labyrinth, with David Bowie in it? And gosh, I'm not going to remember her name. There's a famous actress who was in that too. But anyways, at the end of the movie, for the whole movie, she's trying to remember this poem about this goblin king who's basically like kidnapped her into his goblin realm or whatever. And she finally, at the very end, remembers the end of the poem. And the last line that she says is, "You have no power over me." And as she remembers that, kind of going through this like labyrinth and this weird, like, you know, trapped energy that he's concocted for her, she just gets that moment of clarity and remembers, you have no power over me. And in that instant, all of the illusions just completely dissolve and like melt away. And I feel like that's exactly what this card is for you. So if it's ego telling you like you're not worthy, or you know, this is an impossible dream and it'll never work out, it's you realizing like, wow, I am worthy. Wow, nothing's impossible, right? And sort of having this moment of like divine clarity. It feels like to me it goes along with the judgment call. It's like the angel speaks it to you or something, right? And it speaks it into truth and kind of dissolves all of that energy. That's really lovely. I feel like I just channeled all of that kind of fast, so I hope that all made sense. Speaking of channeling things quickly, it's the Knight of Swords. I feel like I have a lot of cards like half flipping out here. That's kind of funny. They're just really chatty. I don't know if that energy will resonate. I feel like it's reminding me of the energy of the path a little bit, and getting really clear on that with the Judgment card. Like for me, when I'm shuffling, the cards that are meant to be part of the reading actually flip themselves out of the deck, right? It feels like that same thing, getting clear on the path, where like your path to me, it just feels like it's going to be really stinking obvious. Like there's an angel with a trumpet calling you home down one path, and there's like something really boring down the other path that is like not compelling to you at all, right? It's just like, it feels so clear. But there is a little bit of an energy that feels to me like maybe staying the course and staying focused on your joy, or even that kind of mental focus in terms of overcoming like whatever this fear energy is. So the Knight of Swords and the Chariot, that is a very determined, fast-moving energy here. I feel like that's really what I'm getting from this row, is just the speed and this determination. It feels to me almost like the Knight of Swords is like this kind of abrupt start. So if you feel like you're in this collective and that resonates for you, it may be that something happens that sort of kicks off this energy, this change, kind of quickly for you. And you almost might feel like you're kind of scrambling to hold on to your horse, right? As if your horse was standing and then all of a sudden it's galloping, and it takes you a few paces to sort of get yourself right on your saddle and hang on. But you're good. Like I see you doing it. It just feels like it's almost like a little scramble in the moment. But not anything, I don't know, scary or bad or anything like that, right? It's just sort of this moment of like, whoa, and this sort of fast start. And the Chariot feels like kind of as you get used to that momentum and you're kind of in that flow, really coming to this place of like power and clarity, and I don't know, it's almost like you gather your wits about you, sort of. So you become in command. So it's not that the situation is running away from you. It's that you are in command of the situation unfolding. You're in command of your manifestations, of your mind, of your heart, right? Of your feelings. I feel like a really powerful, man, it feels like a glow up. This Chariot has like major boss energy. I don't know that I usually get that from this card, but I'm really feeling like command. So it's really interesting to me that we started with this Emperor, that I was kind of getting like that control energy, which was almost like felt reactionary to me, like from a place of fear. And from the Chariot here, we're ending not with control, but with command. And that command really coming from this place of like determination and like self-possession. I really just feel like this internal power kind of like radiating out of this card. It's very beautiful. It feels to me like with the path, the choice represented by this Two of Wands card, it's like the further you go down this path that you're being called to, you're having like this divine, like a life-changing call down this path, right? It's like the further you go, the more self-mastery you gain, and the more you kind of gather the pieces of yourself together, and the better you get to know yourself, right? The more determined, the more confident you become, the more commanding you become. It's like really beautiful. That's such a cool energy. Man, oh, I love that. That's really beautiful. That's meant for us. So the Lover's card at the bottom of the deck. I feel like this whole reading is like you having this call from the divine, and whatever changes unfold here on your journey to bring you your happily ever after. It's like literally the only advice here. I'm hearing Samuel L. Jackson in that one part in Jurassic Park from like, the 90s or whatever. When he goes, hold on to your butts. That's what this energy feels like to me. Just hold on to your butts, because this is going to move, and it's like so beautiful, and it's so peaceful, and like feels very divinely orchestrated. I feel like I could just keep talking about this energy. It's really lovely. So again, the advice here, really finding some way to let those fears, those anxieties out, let them flow, right? Journal about them, talk about them, like go punch a pillow, cry about them, go mow your lawn, right? And work up a sweat, and just let it flow out of you. Acknowledge that anywhere that you're having those feelings, just acknowledge them, right? And be compassionate with yourself. And then again, this Five of Swords, just really, really recognizing that nobody else has the power to create in your reality, right? Only you can create in your reality. And really, like, I'm hearing that phrase, you have no power over me, really owning that and allowing those illusions to just dissolve. It feels like an important step. And it also feels like it's going to be very easy for you, because it's literally just recognizing the truth. It's recognizing the truth. That's really cool. All right, let's see if we can get a couple of Twin Flame cards. You got anything for us here? Yeah, a couple. All right. We have 1-1, acknowledge, take responsibility. Yeah, I feel like that's what I was just talking about with this. With first of all, that no one else can create in your reality, right? So really acknowledging like your divine power. You are a sovereign being. You are literally like the universe made into a person, you know, and you have that energy coursing through you. So acknowledging sort of that divine truth of who you are, and taking responsibility, I feel like, for these feelings, for any of those feelings that might be sort of, I guess, almost like putting a wobble into your manifestation. I feel like I'm hearing Abraham Hicks talking about the wobble. 1-1, clear energy blocks, activating the higher chakras. I'm drawn to the fact that these are both ones. It feels like elementary to me, like very, very basic. So these things are not complicated that you're being asked to like acknowledge or heal or overcome. Clear energy blocks, activating the higher chakras. Yeah, I feel like it's what I said about this 9 of Swords and 5 of Swords cards. So, yeah, take that if it resonates, or if it brought up something else for you that are like, oh, I know what that energy is for me. Like, go with it, right? Yeah, it feels very simple to me. It's just getting clear. It's making a new choice there. And then we have 8-8, speak your truth, express yourself. Yeah, I feel like that card is about, like, what is the truth here? The truth is not this sabotage energy, and it certainly isn't living in this anxiety. The truth is this. The truth is you having this, like, profound soul calling to move into, like, your highest relationship vibration. It's, like, so beautiful. The truth is that you're worthy of that. The truth is that anything is possible. There's like a very open-minded feeling here. Yeah, just being like open to the adventure of the universe unfolding all of this beauty for you, and being open and willing to like receive these gifts. It's so lovely. I'm feeling like that speak your truth card again is resonating off of those. So there's something to that about like when you speak something, right, you kind of get it out. There's like a flow there, and it's almost like you just get it out of you and you give it to the universe. So that could be, I feel like that could be a really powerful way to work through any of that energy that's coming up for you. But I hope that this was helpful. This is an absolutely beautiful reading. If you're in this collective, just pay attention to what I said around these cards, because they're like literally the only thing that the universe is calling you to work through is just that energy. Everything else is like, this is what's coming. And it's like so lovely and beautiful. I love it. Alrighty. Thanks, and I'll see you in my next reading. Bye.